All right, I think we're live. So let me just pull up the screen and just share with you guys the other two people I'm hanging out with. We got Shalo. Am I finally pronouncing your first name correctly, Shalo?
Yeah.
Okay. So now the next adventure for me is pronouncing your last name correctly. Is it Lefakis?
Yeah.
Okay, it's Lefakis. Okay, it's exactly as I expected it to be. But I'm here with Shalo Lefakis, and then obviously, the famous and honored and brave Diane Gandee Sorbi on live. And, we're going to have this conversation about strategy and the challenges we're facing together and the importance of social media and facing those challenges. And we thought, hey, why not just broadcast this on Facebook Live? Because I bet a lot of people would benefit from this. So why don't I just start by telling folks, or why don't you two tell folks about a little about yourselves and your involvement in DXC and animal rights activism. Diane, I think people already know a lot about you, so maybe Shalo, you can start. You want to say a little about your experience of activism and DXC and how you heard about animal rights and DXC?
So I've been vegan since 2011, and I've been following Jane Velez Mitchell. And I saw you on video last year, and it was very interesting. I'd never heard of Open Rescue, so I was following a lot. And then I had a flip phone for a long time, and I got my first smartphone later in the year.
So wait, let me ask you a question. You saw me for the first time in Jane Velez Mitchell, and tell me the truth. Did you think I was insane?
No.
You didn't? See, you thought it was interesting from the start. Interesting in a positive way. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Because I think a lot of people hear me talking about going into slaughterhouses and factory farms and just taking all the animals out. And I feel like a lot of new vegans think like, that man is completely out of his mind. You can't do that. But you didn't feel that way.
You talked about a Wild Earth restaurant where they sample all the different kinds of animals. And I was thinking about writing a story sort of like that.
Wow.
But it would have been called Zoo Buffet.
Wow.
So I haven't really worked too hard on it.
Yeah.
But it was just really interesting to see it from, like, you tell people to go vegan after the product's already made, but whenever you're talking about Open Rescue, it's before they're a product. They're still
a living creature.
A person.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like we're lifting the fog. There's this fog that these products are under that prevents people from seeing what actually happened and who these animals are. And by going to the front lines and rescuing the animals and telling their stories, we're lifting that fog and allowing people to see the reality of the situation. Yeah. And you were there with us on the Monday where we did the mass open rescue, right?
Yeah.
So that was your first open rescue experience. And from what you've shared with me, I don't think you're the sort of person who would have necessarily seen yourself as participating in such a dramatic action. I don't think you see yourself as brave or extroverted or, going out there and just getting what you want, achieving your vision of the world. But you did it. You did it with us. So tell us about that experience.
Going to another city by myself, like I don't travel at all by myself. So
yeah.
Going to Berkeley was a big deal. So like the mass open rescue was just amazing. Like there's like hardly even any words for that, but I just
tell people about what happened, just like step by step. So we're getting briefed in the morning, and when is the moment you realize that, oh my God, we're about to go to a factory farm and take a bunch of animals out? When did you realize that? Was it in the softball field in the morning?
Sort of. I think maybe walking to the farm was like when
the moment
set in, and then standing outside whenever I actually saw them bring a chicken out.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and it was just, there was like so many people there. I just couldn't believe it, but it was real. So
yeah, and the photos and video from that action are just so powerful and dramatic, because you see these huge industrial sheds, these massive fortresses. I call factory farms fortresses of doom, because they're not farms anymore. They're these huge industrial factories with barbed wire and razor wire and security guards and blades and gears and assembly lines. And you see just these hundreds and hundreds of people holding white flowers in their hands, walking in peacefully and walking out with a bunch of animals. And Diane, you were there too, but that wasn't your first experience in the farm. it was your first mass open rescue because it was the first mass open rescue in U.S. history. So unless you could travel in time into the future, that was your first open rescue. And I assume you don't have that power, right? Okay. Diane is a very powerful person, so don't make assumptions about what powers she has, because, you know, the more I learn about Diane and the things that she's achieved, the more I'm amazed. But tell me about your experience having, you know, you've been with us in these farms so many times, and you're facing potentially decades in prison for going in these farms and rescuing animals. And that was the first time we just brazenly walked in with so many people and said, we're just going to take every single one of these animals out. You know, we're going to start walking out with them. How did you feel being there on that day? Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and that's totally understandable that you're on the yellow team because you are facing these very serious criminal charges. And I actually did not. I know. Yeah. And I know you've got a dear husband who's, you know, dreading the idea of you going to prison. So we have to keep you safe and hopefully out of prison. But I actually did not go into one of the barns either that day. You know, and that's something that most people are shocked by because they see me as the leader and the person who's most courageous and most willing to go to the front lines. But in fact, when we did our most successful rescue to date, I stood outside of the barns. And that's another one of the amazing things about DXC that I think is so wonderfully illustrated, frankly, by the two of you, that we challenge people, we train people, we support people to do amazing work, to do things they didn't believe were possible. They didn't believe they could do. I mean, even if they were possible, certainly I can't do that, and we're doing it. You're doing it. And for me, it was a huge victory for animals, not just because we saved those animals, because we showed so many people who didn't have the confidence, who didn't feel like they had the courage and bravery, that I can go into the heart of evil and start taking these poor animals out. And I did very little. I just kind of stood there and watched people get to work. And that was an amazing experience. So Diane, I mean, you were inside watching these teams just working throughout the facility, walking in and out, you know, exposing the animal cruelty happening inside, defying the authorities and the security guards, who in some cases assaulted activists. What was your feeling when you started seeing people walking out with animals? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're going to walk into barns all over the country and just start bringing innocent animals out.
Yeah. And it's such a dramatic transformation because these are places with so much suffering and death where just a few, you know, weeks prior to the ALC, we had been inside of that farm and exposed to the world. You know, there was whistleblower footage and photos from inside that facility showing there were birds literally rotting to death, collapsed in these huge mounds of feces, trapped and drowning in their own feces. I want everyone on this live stream to just stop for a moment and imagine being stuck in a place where your feces, your own feces, are piling up underneath you, and it's getting so high and you're becoming so weak that you can no longer extract yourself from your own feces and you are drowning to death. Just imagine that for a moment. This is the experience of thousands of animals inside these facilities. And don't take our word for it. Take the word of the industry itself, where industry statistics show that in most of these cage-free certified humane egg farms, anywhere from 5 to up to 20% of the animals are dying every single year from horrendously violent conditions like drowning in your own feces, being cannibalized.
Hey, we can't hear Diane on the live stream.
We can't hear Diane in the live stream. Uh-oh. Can we hear Shiloh?
I don't know. I didn't hear her trying to talk, but
That is not good at all. What is wrong? Why can't we hear Diane?
maybe you should. Oh,
I can hear you fine, but apparently no one else can.
yeah.
What do I have to do?
Oh,
Oh, yeah, it says desktop audio is not on. I probably here's what we need to do. I'm going to fix the live stream
wish
right
we
now,
got our
folks.
friend Jake.
No, I can fix it. I know. We don't need Jake. We got... there we go. Now, Diane, can you speak? Matt, can you test it out?
Oh,
Test it out. Maddie Johnson's in the other room. Our wonderful press and communications coordinator is going to be checking this out. I am so sorry none of you could hear Diane up to this point. I'm seeing if there are comments. We need more men like you, Wayne. No, I'm not that social. Oh, Diane, not audible. Okay, so thank you very much for sharing that. Navdeep is saying that. So I think everyone, can you hear Diane and Shiloh now? Matt, can you hear them? All right. I think they should be able to hear you. Can you say something in, Diane? Okay. Yeah, it says desktop audio is actually going up. So that was my bad, folks. I'm pretty sure they can hear. And I'm going to also apologize for the utterly horrific room behind me. There's clothes and it's still not working? People still can't hear Diane. What is the deal with that? I mean, it says her audio is going up and down. Diane, can you say something again? Just yeah, that is bizarre to me.
I don't know if it'd be the worst thing if you just unplugged your thing. If you just unplugged your earpiece, it'd be a little bit echoey, but maybe you can hear better.
No, I don't think that's going to make a difference one way though, because it's
loud.
no. I mean, that's not going to work. That's not going to get picked up by the microphone properly. You still can't hear. Can you hear Shiloh? Shiloh, do you want to talk for a bit? Just keep talking.
Hi.
You could just keep talking. Say more about yourself.
Whenever we were in Berkeley, when I was in Berkeley with everyone, we did the Disrupt Berkeley, going in the store.
I mean,
that was
it's really,
something
if they just talk up,
afraid
some
to
talk
do.
loud, I think it'd be okay.
Now I'm not afraid.
Awesome. Okay, I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to try and
Tell them to
debug
speak
this
up,
a
I
little
think
bit.
it's doable.
If they speak up,
Yeah.
that you can hear them?
Yeah. Speak up
So-
like quick.
oh, here we go. I think this might work. Input, external microphone, Soundflower. Hello, hello? Oh, that's not working. Now you can't even hear me, huh? Hello? Soundflower 2 channel. None of these are working. All right. Well, this is why you need Jake Hobbs, folks. When you don't have Jake Hobbs, we're lost. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to apologize, folks, for despite the wonderful 2 guests, this is going to be the worst live stream in history because it's just going to be, well, actually, it's not that bad because you're built such beautiful, wonderful souls that people just kind of see your lips miming and imagine what you're saying and know that there's beautiful, wonderful things coming out of your mouth. But maybe we'll cut this a little short because we can't get the audio to work, and we'll talk to Jake later about how we can make it work. But one final question I have for both of you is just, what do you see as the future for you and for the movement? Like, where do you see the movement going from here? Why don't you start, Shiloh?
I see more legislation, and I see more people getting active.
Yeah.
Because there are some people active in Pittsburgh, but there could be a lot more.
Yeah.
And just making it part of your life. And I think a lot of people want to do that.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Matt is telling me that Shiloh is apparently fine. Matt, is that right?
I mean, I can hear them a little. They're not on the screen. Are you trying to have them be on the screen?
Yeah, they're on the screen.
Their faces are not on the screen.
Yeah, they're on
So
the
you
screen
have
right
this
now.
thing centered. I can probably fix it here if you give me a minute. But you don't have. So Chrome with Canvas. So double.
It's there.
It's not showing up in your live stream. That's for sure.
Oh.
So I mean, it's literally just
Nothing's working. This is what happens. Jake Hobbs, you're never allowed to go to Europe again because when you go to Europe, everything falls apart. But at least people can hear you. Jake, where are you, Jake? Let's call loud enough that we can hear. He can hear us in Europe. Jake. I don't think it's working, folks. All right. Well, we're just gonna have to do without Jake. But I agree with you, Shiloh, and I think that we're seeing more and more people empowered. People who didn't see in themselves the power to do it. Diane, what do you think is the future? What do you see as the next wave? Is there more optimism? Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, last thing I want to say just on the live stream is, and we haven't actually lived up to the caption because we didn't give people the news, which is that just today I received both a phone call and an email from the Sonoma County authorities indicating that they want to meet with us and talk about the state of factory farming in Northern California. And we're incredibly hopeful this will lead to pretty dramatic change in the state of California and eventually across the nation and across the world. Because I could tell you, having done investigations across the country for almost a decade, that the authorities almost never respond. They're never interested in engaging in good faith dialogue and conversation, but they are going to. And that's because of the numbers that we have. It's because we had 500 people outside of a factory farm in Northern California at the ALC. It's because we had 150 people outside of Petaluma Farms just a few weeks ago when a whistleblower sent us undercover footage of animals rotting and starving to death. So we have newfound power, and we're going to keep making change. So that email is really cool. But the other thing I want to let everyone know about is whether you're on Facebook just watching us or whether you can come in person. This weekend, we have 30,000 people coming to UC Berkeley, and it is an unprecedented opportunity. Every year, there's only one day of the year where this many people are converging in the same spot. We're going through big changes in their life, open new experiences, open new lifestyles and ideas. And this will be an incredible opportunity for us to get out there and show the students of UC Berkeley that there is incredible, unbelievable animal cruelty happening right next door, just a few minutes away from here, and it's being sold on this campus. In fact, it's being sold right in the Amazon pickup location that you're being served by, that animals are being tortured by Amazon. It's being hidden from you, but we can take action together. So I'm going to be live streaming a good bit of that because we're going to have a huge cube of truth. It's not going to be like the usual cube of truth where we wear the Guy Fawkes mask. We're going to be wearing these Amazon box heads instead, but it's going to be an amazing, amazing experience, and I hope all of you are there with us, whether in live or in person. But given that this live stream is not really functioning, despite the fact that my screen tells me that it's functioning, I think we'll probably just shut things down now. What I will ask all of you to do, as I always do, is to share this live stream. Please share this live stream so more people can see it. And then Shiloh and Diane and I will probably just continue our conversation off of live since the live stream isn't working anyway. So I'm going to apologize to everyone for my own incompetence. I'm apparently not nearly as much of a tech guru as I thought I did. We still depend on Jake for so much. So next time we do this, hopefully Jake will be here and you will be able to see and hear the other people on the live stream. But until next time, please share this live stream. Please come out this weekend to the Cube of Truth that we're going to be doing at UC Berkeley. And please, please, please keep fighting for animals. All right, I'll see you all next time. And I'm going to go back to Diane and Shiloh. Okay.